So like, hopefully a lot of fan base is in.
That's a fan base game, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just run through these real quick. Two primetime games. There's 5 teams. Miami Dolphins. Just you look at the roster. It's a very exciting roster. They have a lot of talent. I don't know if that talent could congeal into like an awesome team. We don't know that. Usually history shows that doesn't work that way. Washington, I don't know who's watching for Wentz, but I guess that's why they got two. Cleveland,
Oh, golly.
again, I think it's because it's one of the historical franchises because Deshaun Watson's probably not playing this year. Kind of like Baltimore with the 3 primetime games. And I know Jay Boyle agrees with this. I think Minnesota's getting disrespected. Minnesota only has 2 primetime games. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but they're at least the other team that's going to compete.
But don't you think they may like it that way? I think that's a chip on your shoulder. Let's go.
Yeah. Seahawks, they got 2, but one of them is just for Russell Wilson. It's not even really for the Seahawks.
The Russ Bowl.
It's Russ versus Pete Carroll. Then you get the ones that are really interesting, the 1 primetime games, where it's either these teams are rebuilding or it's the growth of a young quarterback. The Jets with Zach Wilson, Giants, where they're scorching the earth. Houston Texans, they're starting to rebuild. Atlanta Falcons are pretty much scorched earth too. Jacksonville Jaguars with a young Trevor Lawrence. Carolina Panthers, I don't know. I don't know why they're even getting 1 primetime game. I mean, I know I bought a lot of Matt Rule stock a long time ago, and now it's like Bitcoin when it crashed.
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I got hosed on that. Then you want to talk about disrespected. Detroit Lions.
Oh, man. Campbell. He loves that, though, doesn't he?
He said he did, but Detroit Lions, they got no primetime games. And then the NFL says, oh, well, they get the marquee game of Thanksgiving. It's like, they've had it for how many years? You can't count that as a reason scheduling-wise they didn't get a primetime.
Nearly 50 years, right?
That's bogus.
Yeah. Also, for this year, I just wanted to mention that all the switch around of your sports announcers with Joe Buck and Troy going, they'll get that first Seattle-Denver game. So they will. And then Drew Brees obviously didn't work out with NBC. And I think that lets you know, I don't think the Brady thing will work out either, even though they're dropping some serious coin on the man. Drew Brees perfectly sort of middle of the road. He wasn't a guy that step out and do anything broadcast wise, and he ain't going back to football. Not as a player anyway.
I'll just say this. My favorite thing about like the Drew Brees leaving was New York Post, Andrew Marchot got the quote where Drew Brees, I'm not going to say it verbatim, but he said he may go back to work for NBC. He possibly might play football again, might get into business, philanthropy, pickleball tour, senior golf tour, coaching his kids, or all the above. Well, when did he become multiplicity where he could separate himself into 9 people and do all these things? I mean, good God, man. But I think Lugs nailed the main thing. It is a warning sign. I'm not saying they're the same or similar. You see these guys that usually have successful broadcasting careers, they usually show signs when they're players that they can be colorful in their sound bites, and then they paint out from that. You look at Richard Sherman, I think, is getting his career started in broadcasting. I know he's already done podcasts and whatnot. Like, you can see Richard Sherman be a good broadcaster because he's not afraid to say stuff. Obviously Collinsworth before that. Obviously, Tony Romo, I mean, you go back and watch when he was a player, he always had like an enthusiasm and he had a playfulness to him. It was in those interviews. Both Drew Brees and Brady, at least in front of a mic, I'm not saying they aren't maybe very charismatic people.
Or very smart either. They might be.
Yeah. And I think they are smart. It's just that they are just so dry. And I think if Tom Brady can get away from Jim Gray, I think it'll help because I think he's learning a lot of bad habits from Jim Gray, just being a human being beige. That's what he is.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
It's rough.
So,
yeah, you're right. You may be right to that. But Breeze, you're right. Pretty plain guy. I think we all thought he might have gone with Tirico the Sunday Night Football because they'd been doing Notre Dame games together. But nope, Collinsworth is hanging in there.
I think he's, unfortunately for him, like for the NFL, he did the Raiders Cincinnati game, which was much maligned for his broadcasting. And I think NBC heard about that and maybe he felt that and he just didn't want to deal with it. And then the thing is like we probably would go back to Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman probably was not good when he started out. It took a few years. I mean, that's the problem in this Tom Brady thing being the instant number one guy or whatnot is just, no, you like anything, you got to get reps to develop and get better at it.
And I think on the broadcast note, interesting to see that ABC is getting back some Monday Night Football games, but also ultimately we'll get a Super Bowl in a few years. So it's changing all the time. The broadcast teams are all over the place. I think all the people are in place now, aren't they? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, as far as I know. And there's a lot of cross-pollination, which didn't used to happen. The guys on CBS will promote the guys on NBC and ESPN. That shows you the power of the NFL, and that shows you the interest in the NFL. So
yeah, correct. You would have been shot, hung, and left to die if you had mentioned the word CBS on Fox or vice versa, and that happens now all the time. All 5 networks, NFL Network, Amazon, everything will be mentioned all in one breath.
One great example is Kurt Herbstreit. He's going to remain doing college football and doing Thursday night NFL games for Amazon Prime. So,
and also worth noting, with the uneven schedule of 17 games, NFC teams get 9 home games this year. AFC get 8, and it flips every other year. That'll go 8-9, 9-8. So check that out. So all the NFC teams get an extra home game, or some of them, though, are overseas. So we'll see. All right, how about we do a little sports of yesteryear and come back and do a little more stuff after that? Sound good?
All right.
Hang on a second. I got to find the song. Here it comes. Here we go. Sports of yesteryear. He's our man Lugs with the Benadryl in his pocket, slugging it out of the whiskey bottle, maybe. I don't know what he's doing, but here he is now with Sports of yesteryear.
1912, Philadelphia Athletics rout the Detroit Tigers 24-2 at Shibe Park. Tigers use amateurs in protest at Ty Cobb's suspension from the game. 1933, the first MLB All-Star game announced at Comiskey Park to be played as part of the Chicago World's Fair. Fans pick the players. Now, we want to be international. So for our cricket fans, 1935, English batsman Harold Gimblett scores 123 in 80 minutes on his county cricket debut for Somerset County Cricket Club. There were pip-pips all around, I'm sure. 1972, American basketball player John Sebastian makes 63 free throws while blindfolded. Here I thought John Sebastian was a singer with songs like Do You Believe in Magic?
Yes.
I don't know. 2001, 101-year-old Harold Stilson becomes the oldest golfer to record a hole-in-one when he aces the 108-yard par 3 16th hole at Deerfield Country Club in Florida. And finally, folks, I know there's been a clamor for this. Finally, this week at the 45th Annual Toe Wrestling Championship in Staffordshire, England, George Stubby McKernan took the top spot. For those not familiar, toe wrestling consists of 3 rounds played with right foot, left foot, and right again. The reigning women's champion, Sal Billington, won despite a ligament tear in the second round. So socks off to you, Sal. And that's it for this edition of Sports of Yesteryear.
Thank you, Lugs. Okay, I got a question about, what was that guy's name? The guy who won the
George Stubby McKernan?
Yeah, that Stubbs. Yeah, what's Stubbs up to these days?
I read up on some of this. He's actually a bartender. It's kind of like a reason to have a few drinks and take your shoes off.
Woo! And then I did hear about the All-Star game. I knew that anniversary. And people say, why wasn't Babe Ruth in more All-Star games? Because they didn't have it in most of his career. So he's only in like 2. So take that. Okay. Hey, let's talk about what was the other thing we wanted to talk about today? Hot dogs? Or was
since summer's coming up, hot dog weather. What toppings do you all like on your hot dog? or summer type food.
Lugs, take it away. You're a big
food
connoisseur of the
well,
dog.
Full disclosure, I don't eat hot dogs, but I do like the chicken sandwiches and various, pretzels for sure. I'm a basic guy. Yellow mustard, the occasional Cholula. I like a little heat. I don't need to be crazy here. I don't want my pants to be smoking as I walk away. So those are my sort of two condiments I go for.
Smoking pants?
It burns through you like that alien blood, baby. Some of those hot sauces.
And Cholula, isn't he that artist with those cool glass sculptures? That Cholula, that guy?
Okay. Well, I'm sure, but he's one-eyed. I think that's what happened to him. Anyway.
One-eyed.
T-Dog.
Yeah, what do you like, T-Dog, on a hot diggity dog?
On a hot dog, I'll go a few ways. One way I like just like hot mustard. Just a nice hot mustard on top of it is nice.
Spicy.
Yeah, and then if I'm a little famished, then I'll get some chili on top of it. I'll put some onions on it. A little cheese, a little drizzling of cheese. Maybe put a little Tabasco or some sriracha. It'll add a little extra spice to it, like mix up the chili a little bit so it's a little hot. And then I always forget how to say this, so I had to look it up during the show. The other one I like is a jaranara. I'm probably even saying it wrong now.
That's all right. We got you.
The mix. It's the main thing about it that's very important with this topping is don't wear clothes that you really like because it has an oil base. I don't know what it is.
And you can't
if
get it
gets
out
on your clothes. Yeah, it is. It will leave a mark. So I don't know. Go bare chested. Wear like very short shorts so like it just falls on like your
naked and afraid situation.
Yeah, exactly. When like your family's away or if you're home alone, eat it, but like don't eat it out of the park. But those are my top three.
And do you like the bun with is it just the plain bun, the pepper bun, whole wheat bun, the grains? You know what I'm talking about? The little pepper on there, the little pepper grains.
Just plain for me. Like I said, I'm a basic guy. Hey, do you guys ever? I do this occasionally.
Yeah.
To get in the roughage, I use a little coleslaw on, like, say, the chicken sandwich.
Different kind of two-way. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
We go to Frankie's when I'm up in the Chicago area there. It's a little place on Rand Road, and we get the dog with the, Chicago style. It's good. I like a little extra pickle on there. Not relish. Nah, no relish. But I like the little seasoned salt, the situation. Kind of gives a little bit of, it brings the flavor out of that pork and whatever else meat is in there. But I'm a kind of an all beef hot dog guy. I don't know about your
So when you're talking hot dogs, are you talking brats? Or
No.
Are you talking the kid kind of classic hot dogs? Or
I'm talking all beef, baby.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, a brat. I'll put mustard on. I like chili on top of a hot dog. I'm not putting chili on top of a bratwurst. Like you have something that complements the bratwurst. You don't try to cover up the bratwurst flavor at all.
So you don't go for the mixing of two different worlds with the chili and the bratwurst, the Germany and the Mexico or whatever. So, okay.
It wasn't for that. No, I like certain things fused, but like bratwurst has such a great flavor. I don't want to do. I guess I'm like certain people with bourbon where they get offended if you mix it with Coke or if you put even ice in it. Like people that are like, oh, no, you got to have it neat. Yeah. You got to have it neat. Like I guess I'm that snooty guy with bratwurst. It's like, no chili.
Plus, if you want to get the real bratwurst, you got to go to Wisconsin there because you want to do the 3 Bs, the beers, the brats, and the bowling. And you get that bratwurst on the grill, Johnsonville brats. The kind Bob Euchre talks about on the Brewers games. You need your brat.
Okay.
Wisconsin.
I like the uke. Why don't we have more uke? But
that seems kind of dangerous to do bowling with it because bratwursts have like a decent amount of juice. So like, you're trying to roll. So like in your backswing, you could like throw it and possibly smash a person's head.
Plus you're back into what Lugs was talking with the pants there. Your pants can get in trouble with the bratwurst, if you know what I'm saying.
But if you oil up the bowling ball holes, it comes off your hand with a crazy, crazy kind of curly cue. So, There's some wildness there.
Beers, brats, and bowling.
I think it's in the